Thank you for watching Conversations with Betty LaMarr. Conversations are focused on people like you uplifting the city of Memphis. Visit Betty's YouTube channel, Betty LaMarr Memphis, for more great shows. Be sure to tune in on Mondays at 7 p.m. for Medical Talk with Betty on Xfinity Comcast Cable.
Thanks for watching Medical Talk. I'm Betty LaMarr. Today we are talking to Lydia Fisher, Miss Tristar Volunteer. Lydia will take us through her journey living with a learning disability and how she uses her journey to empower others. Well, hello, Lydia, and thanks for joining me here at Medical Talk.
Well, thank you for having me, Betty. I'm very excited to be here. I've been looking forward to this for weeks.
Well, you look beautiful.
Thank you. You look fabulous as well.
Thank you. From one beauty queen to another.
Right?
All right. But let's do this. Before we get started, tell our viewers who you are and what you do.
Well, first of all, I am Lydia Fisher, Miss Tristar Volunteer. I'm a 25-year-old graduate from the University of Memphis with my BFA in musical theater, which means I am a singer and performer, all of the above, and I love and have a strong passion for being a voice for people with learning disabilities, intellectual disabilities, and helping them find their talents. My Serve platform, which is required of every contestant in the Miss Volunteer America organization, which is our platform, mine is called Lydia's Light, where I empower students in the Tennessee school system with learning disabilities to find their talent that makes them feel like a genius. Growing up, I was very shy. I didn't want to put myself out there and just never felt like school was completely for me. But through arts and singing, I found my passion and who I am today.
Okay, so let's go back to your learning disability, or they call it intellectual disability now. So what exactly, because there's so many,
right?
Where do you fit in? What does that look like for you at that time?
Right, I was diagnosed at the age of 7 with ADHD as well as an auditory processing disorder. And at that time, I was very lucky to have my parents who noticed the signs very early on that the teachers were saying, Lydia is very bright, but she's just not taking to the classwork as well as many of her fellow peers. So my parents took it upon themselves to get me that early testing, and that's what made the whole difference for me to be able to be successful with those IEPs, with those teachers that specialize in giving me the proper extra time on tests, which I used to resent at first because I just felt, why can't I just process things the way as everybody else? But having that unique brain and being just Lydia throughout the whole process, that's what helped me stay true to myself and just understand that I may process things differently. With auditory processing disorder, I may hear things and it just doesn't come across the way I thought it was, that it made me shy to be able to do public speaking. But through putting myself out there and seeing how there's nothing to be afraid of and being able to have conversations with you so confidently as I am now, that's what that transformation means to me. And I'm just so proud of how far I've come, and I really thank you for letting me share my story today.
Yeah, give me an example on the auditory.
Auditory processing disorder.
Give me like what that sound like to you if someone were to say something to you, just in case I have it. So I'll know, oh, that's what's happening to me, and the reason why maybe stuff sometimes doesn't come out right. Describe that to our viewers, what that sounds like.
How I could describe it in summation, it would be dyslexia for the ear. And a good example I use from a diagram I've seen when studying more about auditory processing disorder is that this student, she is not good at following directions sometimes. I may hear something that says, you need to move this. I may hear something completely opposite of that and just go through that. That's my way of describing it.
Okay.
There's so many things about disabilities that we still don't understand, and now as we're living in a society that is more understanding, that people are all processing things differently, we're able to not be so apprehensive about it, but we're able to have different therapies, different psychiatrists involved that are able to help students through that process and not let them feel ashamed.
Yes. Now, you shared something with me because, you know, everybody, like with me, people have always asked me, Betty, how did you get, what drove you, if you will, or led you to pageants? So you shared something with me about how you became to be passionate about pageants. So tell our viewers that story again.
Well, my story when it came to pageantry, I was that little girl who did like to watch pageants like Miss America, Miss USA, but it all started when I was around the time when I was diagnosed, 7 years old, where a family friend of mine named Kathy Manning, she was a former Miss Mississippi USA, a family friend of mine. I was just that nosy little child at a family friend's dinner party, and I found this sparkling crown in her office. And I asked, what is this? What is this about? She just took it upon herself like, oh, I've been waiting for this moment my whole entire life to show this little girl all these crowns and these videos. And I just saw these beautiful women on stage who were so intelligent, so inspiring, all had a story to tell and came from all different walks of life. I just saw that example. I just said, one day I'm going to be up on that stage.
Yes.
That's going to be me. And although Kathy, she's no longer with us, sadly, but I still want to do this in honor of her.
Yes.
and set the example that she set for me and keep that dream going for other little girls I may come across, especially if I'm given the title of Miss Tennessee Volunteer, which is the organization I represent as a local title holder, to be able to go across the state of Tennessee and go to counties and cities that never even seen a Miss Tennessee Volunteer before to help plant that dream inside of them that they too can one day become that. Because at first I didn't think I was smart enough to even be a local title holder. The arts was my thing. That made me feel like a genius. But if you apply yourself and find your passions, there's nothing that can stop you.
Okay. Well, we're about to leave this segment, and I'm so excited to go into the next segment because this is so absolutely wonderful. You're really taking me back to how it all began for me. So after we take this break, Miss Lydia Fisher, Miss Tristar Volunteer, I want to go more into to our viewers exactly where the volunteer part of this comes into play, okay?
I'm feeling very fired up. I can't wait.
All right. Stay tuned for more medical talk. We're talking about overcoming intellectual disabilities.
Thank you for watching Conversations with Betty LaMarr. Conversations are focused on people like you uplifting the city of Memphis. Visit Betty's YouTube channel, Betty LaMarr Memphis, for more great shows. Be sure to tune in on Mondays at 7 p.m. for Medical Talk with Betty on Xfinity Comcast Cable.
You're watching the award-winning GHS TV, a nationally recognized student television station.
Welcome back to Medical Talk. I'm Betty LaMarr, and joining me is Lydia Fisher, Miss Tristar Volunteer. Lydia, I am having a wonderful conversation with you, and you just make me feel so at ease, and just knowing that there are people out there, there are a lot of people we know that may have intellectual, or some people call learning disabilities, that don't believe because they don't have anyone around them to make them feel like they still can be a success.
Exactly.
Right?
Right. And that is what the mission of Lydia's Light, my personal serve platform, is all about. It's about being that mentor and being that light to somebody who just doesn't feel like they're enough, that you are enough. If you're able to apply yourself and find your talents, you're able to show, yes, I do bring so much to the table. And by empowering those students, if I'm given the opportunity as potentially the next Miss Tennessee Volunteer to serve as the governor's spokesperson for character education, I would focus highly on that and be that person for every child I come in contact with, that Miss Tennessee Volunteer is just like me. She has a learning disability like me. She had that struggle just like me. but she came out on the light at the end of the tunnel.
Exactly.
And that's what that symbol of that crown is all about.
So how far back does Miss Tristar Volunteer, because, of course, I became introduced to it because I actually volunteer for a thrift store, and that's all they do is Legacy Thrift Store. So, and everybody there is a volunteer. From me doing their Facebook page, we're all volunteers, so naturally that's a part of who I am, giving service to others. So give us a little bit of history of Miss Tristar.
Yes, Miss
Volunteer.
Tristar Volunteer. Yes, it is a local title within the Miss Tennessee Volunteer State Organization under the Miss Volunteer America organization, which Miss Tennessee Volunteer came first under the leadership of Allison Alderson DeMarcus in Jackson, Tennessee, back in 2018, where the first annual state pageant was held, and all the demand that came from the pageant culminated in the founding of Miss Volunteer America in February 2020. Now, with COVID happening soonly thereafter, it put the first national pageant on hold, as well as the next state pageant for Miss Tennessee Volunteer. But we have seen it grow exponentially, but the whole point and center of Miss Volunteer America, of course, volunteer is derived from the fact that we are the volunteer state for Tennessee.
Yeah.
But volunteerism is something we value in our acronym of SERVE. I mentioned I have a SERVE platform. We don't just call it that for show. SERVE stands for scholarship, education, responsibility, volunteerism, and empowerment. And my favorite part of the crown would have to be responsibility, because it is my responsibility to be that example for every child who has never felt less than for something that they were born with that they couldn't help, and being the light for somebody.
And just for your information and in full disclosure, I was looking for a someone like yourself, a beauty queen. So I was on Facebook, and for some reason, because we never know why the universe lined things up. And out of all, there's a million of them on there. But for some reason, I was just automatically attracted and drawn to you. And that's when I reached out to you. And I don't know if it was the volunteer part of it or it just was meant to be you. But I'm so excited because I didn't know about the disability. I didn't know about any of that at first.
Right, and just being a volunteer in your community, it's research driven, that being a volunteer and being able to put yourself out there for your community, that makes you feel much more fulfilled in life. I have my own volunteer experience, which began with a school that happens to be here in Germantown, Tennessee, that I relate to on a whole level, called Madonna Learning Center. It's just right down the street. I started out with my platform empowering people with disabilities by being a businesswoman myself. I am the founder of a small horse street business. A couple years ago, I was reached out to by the executive director of Madonna Learning Center, Jill Gilbert. She saw that my small horse street business called Pony Pucks would be perfect to teach their students how to make, bake, and package those horse treats for those mobility skills. And from then on, I just saw them take to it like ducks to water. They were so fulfilled by being able to have that job workforce experience that many of them went on to have great jobs because of that.
Wow.
And that was the beginning part of my platform. And then I just brought my own story of overcoming a disability back into the fold of it.
Okay, so after Miss Tristar Volunteer, okay, so what's the next? Is there a next level, or is that just Miss Tristar Volunteer?
I am actually competing for the title of Miss Tennessee Volunteer in July of 2024, July 24th to the 27th, or 21st to the 24th. I would have to correct myself on that. But if you want to put it on your calendar, I would love to have you come watch the pageant. It's going to be at the Carl Perkins Civic Center in Jackson, Tennessee. I can relay the information to you. But we compete in 3 preliminary nights. I'll compete in fitness, evening gown, talent, and then the finals, which will culminate in the top 5 answering an onstage question. Plus, there's the private interview happening at the beginning of the week.
Yeah, and one thing I know for sure, you are a stellar singer. And we're going to take a break and we're going to come back and go into that part of it. Okay? Watch this space for more medical talk.
cut to one, and cue talent.
The GHS Fine Arts Department is composed of 6 different disciplines, including instrumental music, which is both band and the strings or orchestra.
My belief is that band is the life of the school. If the band's not fun, the school's not fun.
There's choral music with a variety of different levels for our students, from women's choir, an a cappella group.
So choir is an excellent opportunity for you to engage in the music making process and to create relationships and bonds with your fellow classmates.
We have our theater program, which includes acting and tech theater.
It'll teach you how to be a better communicator, it'll teach you how to work with people better, and it'll teach you how to get outside your comfort zone.
We have GHS TV and the intro classes that go into GHS TV.
You're watching the award-winning GHS TV, a nationally recognized student television station.
Welcome to GHS Insider, the show that's all about the G.
So GHS TV tries to model a real working station.
And we have a visual arts program that goes up into AP courses and also includes IB level.
I think the arts are really important because they provide students with that safe space where they can express themselves, they can be who they really want to be.
The specificity of what is taught and required to be learned here in this department is so particular that they're going away with abilities and skills that other schools aren't teaching.
For more information about the Kappa program, visit ghskappa.com or call 755-7775. You're watching the award-winning GHS TV, a nationally recognized student television station.
Welcome back to Medical Talk. I'm your host, Betty LaMarr. Okay, now, Lydia, this is good. I am enjoying, this is so much. And like I said, being a volunteer myself, a person like self-service, I'm just really so proud of you and just amazed at your journey. So let's talk about this. Now, I know you mentioned that you run in the St. Jude Marathon.
The half marathon. We're not quite there yet. This was my very first half marathon I completed this past weekend of the St. Jude half marathon. We have as Medical Talk is interwoven with this, St. Jude is Miss Volunteer America's national philanthropy. I love being able to go into the hospitals to provide joy and happiness because those children, they love to see the princesses in the beautiful crown. But my personal journey as it connects with the St. Jude Half Marathon as well as my fitness journey also connects with my journey with overcoming a learning disability. It was because of me being able to become more connected with a healthy lifestyle, running every day, lifting those weights, changing what I eat because it's more 80% diet, 20% fitness, but being able to do that was what helped. I don't want to say defeated my learning disability because it's something that'll always be with me, but being someone who was diagnosed with medication from an early age, I just felt that I was robbed of my emotion. It depleted my emotions. That's what I believe helped hold me back from trying so many things for so many years. And I give Pageantry a lot of credit for helping me come out of my shell. That when I got out of high school, I made that decision to use my healthy lifestyle and come off of that medication to be able to show I can live independently. I had psychiatrists and doctors as well as my family to help support me through it and help me make that independent decision myself. And the girl who was the last to finish the mile in gym class always needed encouragement. Oh, there we go. I'm not perfect. See, I saw that I was able to do 13.2 miles in honor of the children of St. Jude.
Wow.
And I just was thinking during that run this past weekend on Saturday that if I can do this hard thing and seeing how those children in that hospital go through so many hard things every single day, they're overcomers. And I'm so honored to be able to be a part of this organization like Miss Volunteer America that is going to work to raise funds for those children at St. Jude.
Well, you know what I'm looking forward to? I'm looking forward to, and I know you have so much more to say, but I want to get this in before I forget. I'm looking forward to next year, because this year we didn't have time. we do the Sugar Run 5K for children diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. And I'm looking forward to you, because every year we have someone to sing what is it?
The national anthem.
Yes. Because I asked this year and he had already asked somebody, but we had just made contact.
And you mentioned that you consider me a fabulous singer. Hey, I try, but yes, singing is the thing that helped me get through so many years where I thought I was a dumb student, that school's not for me, but the arts, that's totally for me. And being able to get into music theory, musical theater is my degree in college, that's what helped me feel like a genius. And Miss Volunteer America gives me that platform to share it, because for so long I let the singing do the talking for me instead of just talking.
Well, you know what I wish? I wish most schools would, I wish there were platforms was like that, because all kids do not learn the same way, because I guess I can identify with you, because maybe in my generation I could have had that label too, because I didn't learn the typical way. I was more of a visual learner. I was creative. I knew when I was even in the 5th grade, I knew that I was going to be doing really what I'm doing now, even though I'd never been around it.
Exactly.
It's like I came in the world knowing that what I was going to be. So I was sitting in class sort of focusing on, the Crown and the TV, it's just like, so what they was teaching me, to me, this won't have anything to do with my vision, if that makes sense.
Right. Hey, that
So I should have been they should have classes for kids that they're not dumb kids, they just learn. Visually. I think a lot of kids flunked out of school, Lydia, because no one understood their learning
They see the world in so many different colors is how I think of it. And there's just so many colors coming at them so quickly that how they communicate, how they process, some people, the left-right brain theory, everybody knows about that. Like, is it the right brain that's the creator or it's the left brain? Oh, I'm directionally challenged. But being able to use my creative outlets to find a career, it is my dream one day to move to Nashville with the singing. In the past, with Miss Tennessee Volunteer, I have been an overall talent winner for the state pageant this past year. But yes, so to be able to be afforded scholarships towards my education, it would be my dream to go back to school for my master's degree. I've been very enthralled by the world of media that maybe I would like to follow in your footsteps one day as a media reporter in this field.
Why not?
I could see, there's so many women out of pageantry that have had that background.
Really?
Yes, so I think Gretchen Carlson, Shannon Breen, so many women out there. Phyllis George, Miss America 1971. She was the first female reporter for sports broadcasting.
Okay, well, I'm happy you said that, because I'm going to hold you to that, because I need a co-host. Yeah, I do.
We'll exchange details later.
We sure will. So it's good to know that, because I had no idea you even had any inspiration to even want to do this.
Yes,
it's really good.
I'm just someone who doesn't want to be put into a box. I'm somebody who wants to try everything.
Good, wonderful. Now, I'm going to give you, as I always say, I'm going to sit back and learn something. So since this is our final segment, I want you to pretty much use this time that we have left to, if there's a website or just anything you want people to know about intellectual disabilities, pageantry, how it's positive, how it can help people, and go.
Well, if you are interested in competing in the Miss Volunteer America organization, there is a space for you. We have plenty of local preliminaries left in Tennessee coming up. If you would like to reach out to Miss Volunteer America Page via Instagram or my personal Instagram, Miss Tristar Volunteer, I would appreciate you doing so if you're between the ages of 13 and 26.
Okay.
And if you'd like to follow my journey to the crown, oh, there we go again. So perfect. It's probably crooked, but just if anyone out there just feels inspired and wanting to say, hey, I want to get involved as a sponsor, as a volunteer, as a contestant, don't hesitate to just do it.
Okay, because it's about volunteering.
Right, it's about volunteering and becoming the best version of yourself. And through this experience with Miss Volunteer America, as well as having experiences talking with you and being able to be vulnerable and sharing my story, I know there's nothing that can ever hold me back.
Okay. So what we can get out of this to anyone that feel like they have any kind of intellectual disability, like I tell people with diabetes, or people that have went on with diabetes that have accomplished wonderful things. Okay, so in closing, Miss Lydia, you did give us your Instagram. Is there a website, or how would they find Miss Tristar? Is it on Facebook?
I'm on Facebook at Lydia Fisher. I am on Instagram, and that's about the best avenues for you to get to me. If you'd like to book me for an appearance or more talks like this, my email is misstristarvol@gmail.com.
Well, Lydia, I would like to thank you so much for being here with me today, sharing your journey with all those people out there that may think that they don't have what it takes to be a successful person.
Or even for those who feel like they don't have a voice or they don't feel heard. And you certainly made me feel heard today.
Thank you so much, Lydia. I would like to thank my studio guest, Lydia Fisher, Miss Tristar Volunteer, for her passion for helping others who are living with disabilities. Be sure to tune in for more medical talk on Mondays at 7 p.m. on Xfinity Channel 17. For more information on our programming, please check us out on the web at ghstv.org, where we are streaming live 24 hours a day. You can also check us out on Facebook and Twitter. I'm Betty LaMarr. From all of us at GHS TV, thank you for watching Medical Talk, and I hope to see you again.
Thank you for watching Conversations with Betty LaMarr. Conversations are focused on people like you uplifting the city of Memphis. Visit Betty's YouTube channel, Betty LaMarr Memphis, for more great shows. Be sure to tune in on Mondays at 7 p.m. for Medical Talk with Betty on Xfinity Comcast Cable.
Have you ever thought about a talk show about HR? Well, it's here. HR TV is here. HR TV featuring the talk show Let's Talk HR with Dr. Deneen. I'm Dr. Deneen. The show's content will demonstrate the importance of HR in the workplace and how vital the voice of HR is to successful organizations. The show will spotlight HR professionals on every level with a focus on learning more about the people behind the profession. It's upbeat, it's fun, and it has informative episodes. The show will advance the HR profession by assisting HR professionals and organizations stay abreast of the most relevant and compliance-based information important to the workplace today. This is HR TV. I'm Dr. Deneen Lester, and I want to talk HR with you.
Thank you for watching Conversations with Betty LaMarr. Conversations are focused on people like you uplifting the city of Memphis. Visit Betty's YouTube channel, Betty LaMarr Memphis, for more great shows. Be sure to tune in on Mondays at 7 p.m. for Medical Talk with Betty on Xfinity Comcast Cable.